Guys, welcome to another show. My name is Iain Myles and this is the Myles Show, the show that gives you the real talk about dating. But guys, hold on, not so fast, okay? Before we get going, I want to remind you that I am still giving away my free ebook called Get a Girl to Like You. Now in this book, I basically drill down how you can master the art of conversation in order to get a girl to like you. So if I were you, I would definitely grab a free copy today by simply clicking on that link in the video's description box right down below, and I'll send you a free copy right now. Now, I really love receiving your messages and your emails, and recently I got an email from a concerned guy, and this is what he said. Hi Iain, I feel like a walking ATM in my relationship. I don't know if I'm dating anymore or in a business transaction. My girlfriend holds me responsible for her needs, and I feel like she's a big liability on me financially and emotionally. I'm paying for everything and she is still not happy and I don't feel good enough. Please help me and I am stuck. Right now, I read this email and I realized that most men feel like their relationships are becoming more of a liability. Dating a woman that always wants something and doesn't consider the financial implication it has on you, I don't know what to call that, but it's definitely not love. So how does one get himself out of this trap? Communicate expectations. Many gentlemen get into a relationship or a situationship with little to zero expectations from the woman regarding the nature of the relationship. Failure to discuss expectations may lead to confusion later in the relationship. While the conversation might be uncomfortable in the beginning, it is necessary to understand what she wants from you. Now, you can also let her know what your expectations are in the relationship. Early on in the relationship, you should be able to determine what needs she wants you to fulfill. Now, in some cases, she expects you to fulfill her emotional needs, whilst others might have materialistic needs in mind. Knowing the parameters of your willingness to be involved saves everyone a lot of time and potential heartbreak. Independent women. Now look, this is the 21st century, so there is no need to act as if the modern woman is the same as the traditional woman was, that was content to stay at home and wait for the man to bring the bread. You see, in modern society, women are increasingly empowered to take charge of their lives. When this happens, the result is strong, independent women who can manage with or without you. Several women still expect you to supply their every financial and emotional need. However, you don't have to put up with these types of women if it's not something that you're committed to. Now, bankruptcy is a lonely place to be, and seeking out an independent woman can save you from unwillingly becoming a philanthropist in your relationship. But just remember that it is easier to provide support to a strong woman that knows what she wants than become a crutch to a woman that expects you to fulfill all of her needs. Measure out your involvement, but don't overdo it. Now, some guys have a tendency to overdo the first part of their interaction with a woman in the hope that she will get impressed. Gentlemen, there is no need to overdo it at the very beginning of the relationship because it tends to set a false pace for the relationship. So only give what you're willing to supply very early in the relationship. If you are not the kind of man that is willing to pay the bills, let her know early on. Whilst this may lead to a loss of certain relationships, it helps you to keep you in check and make sure that you're not getting into a strenuous situation. All women are looking for is support in a relationship, but the level of support required may vary from woman to woman. So like a business contract, you need to measure the pros and the cons before you get into a relationship with your ideal woman. Guys, let me just be frank with you. Sometimes it is not worth it. Financial needs aren't the only needs. Now, men and women get into relationships for very different reasons. In many cases, the woman requires emotional, mental, and financial needs, whilst the man tends to need that emotional and physical support from the woman. Now, women don't come up with a manual to see the expectations, so it is important to arm oneself with expectations. Women love to talk about what they need, so you will know very early on what she expects from you. Some women want mental and emotional support that might strain you more than issuing financial support. So don't go into a relationship feeling as if you have to supply her every need or solve her every problem. She needs to figure out some things for herself, and in some instances you end up doing her friend's job as opposed to a man's job. Individuality. Now, you have to put your own needs above anyone else's needs if you hope to secure a healthy relationship. There are crucial parts of yourself that make you who you are. No one should compromise on these parts of themselves. Now, when you compromise key parts of your character early on in the relationship, you lose your individuality, which may lead to a loss of self-respect. Now remember, there are parts of you that drew her in. If at some point you feel as if she wants you to change these parts to accommodate her needs, then you can mark the relationship as unhealthy. Your partner's needs should never overtake your need for individuality. Do not take on unnecessary roles. Now, there is nothing wrong with your lady knowing that she can depend on you. However, you have to measure out the parameters of how much you're willing to let your partner lean on you. Now, for example, if you're uncomfortable paying for every date, don't allow yourself to start paying for a cab fare as well, as if it's not something that you desire to do. When you allow the parameters of the relationship to become redefined, then you risk taking on strenuous roles that can hurt you more than they may help her. So define the amount of assistance that you want to help her with and stick to your boundaries no matter how hard it gets. Sometimes you may need to do something that you wouldn't otherwise do, and look, this doesn't mean that you have to say no. The trick is to manage her expectations by letting her know that you can only be there to a certain degree. View the relationship as a partnership. Now, in a business partnership, all the parties are aware of the roles that they play and the value that they bring to the company. A relationship can be viewed as a partnership where every side has a role to play in keeping the relationship running. So defining roles can help to curb plenty of confusion for both partners, because it creates little room for that disappointment. Anytime you start to feel as if there is an imbalance of power, know that your partnership is under threat. Look, as long as there are no power imbalances, you should be able to supply her needs with little strain. Guys, that marks the end of today's show on the Myles Show. Now, don't forget to visit karmalifestyles.com, as we offer live training services such as the residential training, where we will physically take you out one-on-one to the coffee shops, to the bars, and even to the nightclubs. Now, one thing I want to clarify is that this isn't an online training where we will talk to you from afar. Neither is this some kind of a boot camp where you're going to be packed with a load of random guys like a tin of sardines. Okay, this is a private one-on-one exclusive training with the very best dating coaches in the world. And I will demonstrate. What makes it unique is I will demonstrate in front of you how I do it, and you will be stunned because it will completely change your reality. All you then need to do after the training is just rinse and repeat that same process. It's that simple. Now guys, I'd love to hear feedback from you too, so keep those emails coming. You can also find a wide collection of materials on dating and relationships on karmalifestyles.com. Now I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until next time.